And now Roseanne Barr will come out. And sing whatever is left of our national anthem. I'll tell you, Francis Scott Key must be spinning like a lathe in his grave. Woo! The closest sound I've ever heard was when I got my cat neutered once. You know the saying, it ain't over till the fat lady sings? No. It was over right away. Yeah. Whew. I saw the San Diego chicken going over and asked the organist to wring its neck. I want to tell you, was that some musical rendition? That's going to be on the news for a while, is it not? Anyway, welcome to Burbank. We like to plug Burbank occasionally because we do the show not from Hollywood. Sounds glamorous. We're here in Burbank. Not quite as glamorous, although we do have some celebrities that live out here, like Benny Hanukkah. Now, Benny is a former Japanese chef turned rabbi, and what Benny can do, he'll convert you on a table surrounded by 8 strangers. It's very unusual. Strange, bizarre items in the news. Did you read the story? You guys would feel for this man. A gentleman, not from this country, I don't believe, a violinist. Do you know what the country he's from?
England.
From England, was at the airport here in Los Angeles, and he had a $500,000 Stradivarius violin that was stolen from a baggage cart or something like that. I hope the man finds it. The police may have a lead. They became suspicious when a local street musician's version of Turkey in the Straw was reducing passerby to tears. Well, let's see. Roseanne Barr kind of took Judge Souter off the front page, didn't she? David Souter, as you know, is the president's nominee to replace Mr. Brennan on the Supreme Court, and they're trying to find out something about the man. They did find out one thing today. Yes, he hasn't written a lot of things, but he holds a strong minority opinion, they found out. He prefers potatoes to stovetop stuffing. They're trying to find anything. He lives very modestly, as you probably know, in a modest house in New Hampshire. Modest is right. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Looks like something you'd see on the label of a syrup bottle. And, of course, now comes the confirmation process, right? And he faces a tough grilling of his integrity by Barney Frank and David Durenberger. That ought to be something. He may not be confirmed. Jesse Helms found out he showers in the nude. Yes. And of course, the opposition tries to find out little things they can bring up to embarrass him at the confirmation proceedings, like they did with Judge Bork and Mr. Ginsburg. They did find out one thing. Apparently, Judge Souter, and when he was a student, but he was in law school, cut in a line, ahead of the line at Baskin-Robbins, by turning his 9 upside down and make it look like a 6. Yes. So we have a rather interesting thing here. Bush has picked Judge Souter because he had never taken a public stand on many touchy issues. He's never written anything. Very little unknown, which is pretty much the process he used when he picked Dan Quayle. What else is going on? Our Attorney General Thornburg says the mafia may be involved with a number of savings and loan institutions. Now, actually, that is not a bad idea. At least the banks will be run by professional crooks. I mentioned last night the plight of Jim Baker, as you know, who's in a slammer. The IRS has a bill. They want him to pay something like $501,000. Jim Baker makes 11 cents an hour in prison, and the IRS is taking it. Now, Jim... But I think Jim must have some extra money somewhere. Today he gave Pete Rose $500 to take his conjugal visit with Tammy. But anyway, a lot of you are out here on vacation in California, and we're glad you're here because apparently some California tourist attractions are suffering from some low attendance the first time, I guess, in many, many years, especially this summer. And it's even affected Burbank's top tourist attraction. Of course, I'm talking about Al Tepler's Whitewater Ride. What Al does, he sits you in front of his Yugo and puts on the windshield spritzer. That's about it. Now, I mentioned this last night, and it is true. You'll say, oh, he's making that up, but it's not. A New York opera company, they announced is going to perform an opera, I believe this fall, with nude opera stars. I don't think I'm quite ready to see a large woman shoving dollar bills in Pavarotti shorts. And one travel news, it's also true. Wall Street Journal announced yesterday that Continental Airlines is going to have a one-week test in August, next month, of having stand-up comedians perform on their planes, their flights between Detroit and Cleveland. And if you're going to either one of those cities, you could use a good laugh. Well, can you... Stand-up comedians on a plane, can you see that? I just came in from Coach, and boy, am I tired. Take my dinner roll, please. That's what Youngman would do, right? Is this an audience or an Ocupado sign? Who knows? Anyway, just trying some stuff out. Maybe that's not a good idea to have that going on. My apologies to Detroit and Cleveland. They're fine cities. Don't write me now. What? You're from, are you from where?
Cleveland.
Cleveland, fine city. Large man with knuckles touching the floor. Any guy sitting in a rubber tire hanging from a rope is okay by me. No. You spent some time in Cleveland?
I was born in Detroit.
There's my point, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, enough of that. Okay. We have the marvelous Liv Ullman with us tonight. My fan. New comedian. New comedian. I think he's making his first shot on the show, right?
Been on once before.
What?
Been on once before.
He's been on once before. Was I here?
Yes, sir.
Well, I might have missed him.
One of those rare nights, John.
His name is J.J. Wall. Of course I remember it. J.J. Wall.
That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, I was here.
Remember how good he was?
What?
Remember how good he was?
That's why he's back. And an actress who has not been on the show before, although she was booked on the show before last week, and we ran long, so she didn't get on. But tonight she will. Her name is Patrika Darbo. She's with us. So stay where you are, and we'll be right back. Okay. We are
That
here.
lemonade helps.
What? Yeah. Did you all got your lemonade art, right? Yeah. Okay. No, we're not required to laugh or applaud. Although we do have a standby group in the other that has not yet had their lemonade. Anyway, tonight we have a marvelous actor. She's a lot of fun. Liv Ullman is with us. J.J. Wall, who has been with us before. And he was good.
Yes.
And Patrika Darbo, right?
Yes.
All right. Okie dokie. Okay, what do we got here? Remember these when you went to school? No, where'd you go to school when you were a youngster?
I went all over the place. You don't.
Well, you don't go
know.
all over the place when you were a youngster. I mean, you were like kindergarten, the first grade.
I went to a school in Philadelphia. Then I went to a school in New Jersey. Then I went to school in Connecticut. Then I went to Massachusetts.
Anybody who can't stay in the first grade has got trouble. What, do they keep moving
We
you?
kept moving all over the place.
So you never finished the first grade in any one school?
I went to one school for 2 weeks. And then we moved.
And then how long were you in that school?
The rest of the season. Now, this is not helping this bit at all. So
No, it's certainly not.
sorry you asked me.
But you
twice.
remember these? They're called flashcards.
Oh, we had those in one of my schools.
When you were in the first grade, they didn't have an alphabet. That's how old you are. Anyway, you know, for example, remember these?
Absolutely.
Teacher would hold these up. A is for apple. I guess it was always apple, right? B is for... Well, yeah, it was balloon when I was a kid. B is for bell, I guess, in this case. C is for... cat. And D is for... you see, they've changed it for some reason. They changed it to door. Oh, why? You see, modern technology is too much for me. Now, in some schools, they're a great learning skill. You know what they do in some schools? I think this is a good idea. They try to get children interested at a very early age in art, but they're not exposed to. So they will do things like this. And so the kids get to see, this is self-portrait, of course, by Vincent van Gogh. And they give some facts on the back of it. No, that's good. We didn't have that, did we?
No. None of my schools.
What? Care about your schools anymore. How many of you folks would recognize this now? Self-portrait by Leonardo da Vinci, right? How many of you know who this gentleman is? No, not Rembrandt. Folks,
Somebody said it right.
No, it's not so. It's a self-portrait by Peter Paul Rubens. But it does look similar to Rembrandt, doesn't it? You sure that's not Rembrandt? No. Self-portrait by Peter Paul Rubens. So there you are. Now you know. We're going to give this test every night when an audience comes in to see if they know this. Well, nowadays, kids get most of their information, as you know. This is what is known as the comedy setup. Kids nowadays get a lot of their information, especially from television. And kids are trusting. They hear adults talking on TV. They think it's all true. So what we've done, we've designed a special set of flashcards to help counter the influence of TV commercials. Right?
Right.
And we have one for every letter. And I'll show them to you here, and you can make up your own mind. All right? A is for... You don't have to answer this. My God, I know you can read this, folks. They're answering like a bunch of kids. A is for apple. A is for apple, the taste that dogs follow. B is for the bowlfuls that Ed's had to swallow. All right. C is for search. You'll get closer by tapping them. And D is for Dolores, who'll save you unwrapping them. E is for Epilady, a new marketing spin-off. And F's what you yell while it's ripping your skin off. Moving along here. G's for the giant, what food's all about. And H is where his heel met the little green sprout. All right. F's I is for the inches, ultra slim fast peels away. And J is for jump. goes down your shirt to the floor. All right, O is for Oat Bran, a fiber-rich cereal which tastes just like styrofoam packing material. All right, Q is for chain hotel beds. They're all queen size. K is for the roaches. They're Torville and Dean size. We just like to get Torville and Dean in there. You know, remember who Torville and Dean are?
No.
Famous ice
Really?
skating champions, Torville and Dean. Very good. Writers like the name. Makes no sense to anybody else. We put it in.
The audience certainly appreciated it.
No. S is for sugar, which starts as molasses, detours through a Twinkie, and ends up where your ass is. U is for underalls, which hides where your cheek ends. And V is for Vincent, who wears Catherine's on weekends. W is for wax, making kitchen floors shiny. And X marks the spot where you rupture your hiney. Very good. Y is for Yankees and Ruth's classic Homer. And Z is for the zip head they've got as an owner. There you are, folks. We'll be back with Liv Ullman. Okay, it is always great to have Miss Liv Ullman on the show. She's a marvelous actress. Would you welcome, please, Liv Ullman. And how are you?
Did you like my outfit?
I like your outfit. That's lovely.
It's for you.
It is? What do you mean for me now? You mean you went out and bought a special outfit just to come on this show?
No, I didn't buy it, but I was wearing it, thinking it would suit you.
Thinking of me, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. They always say that women dress not for men, but they dress for other women. How do you feel about that?
I don't believe that is true.
Really?
No, because I know for me, my girlfriend, they know I have no taste in clothes, so...
Don't you have any taste? What do you mean you have no taste in clothes?
I don't. You know, either my daughter dresses me or some man I'm in love with tells me what to wear. I don't know what to do when I'm on my own.
Are you, I think Jack Nicklaus is colorblind, is he not? And somebody says that his wife has to coordinate because I guess he read between red and green especially.
Well, it's not colorblind, but I see pictures in magazines and it looks beautiful on someone, and I think it's going to look like that on me, and somehow it doesn't.
Well, the fashion magazines aren't fair. They always get these girls who look like they weigh about 92 pounds, you know.
Well, they're 12-year-olds.
Yeah, and then pour this dress on them, and I suppose the average woman says, boy, isn't it... Do you follow fashion? I've often found it amazing that maybe 5 or 6 designers in the world, men, well, basically men, right, can dictate each year what is in for women, and women seem to follow that. You know, if they have the skirt up one year, they'll put it down the next year. Then they'll put big shoulders, and the women say, oh, they have to do that. Well, why do women do that?
Because it's all you can buy in the shop then.
Yeah.
You know, or if, like, I come from Norway, by the time I come here and have what was modern then in Norway, then it's over here, so I'm a little late. So probably these are now out here.
Are those...
Because I just came from Norway.
Is that a skirt, or are those little
It's a
jumpsuit? Oh, they're little,
Yeah.
little pants.
I never did it in my life.
You never did what?
Had such pants on.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're nice.
Okay.
Does fashion come late to Norway? Are there any famous
Everything comes late to
designers
Norway.
in Norway at all? What do you mean everything comes late to Norway?
Well, I mean, we are a small country and we learn from the big countries, and by the time they have understood what they are doing is wrong, that's when we start learning it, and then we do it.
That makes sense. Now, last time you were, you were about to become a grandmother.
Oh, and I became one.
And now you're a granny, huh?
Yes.
You don't look like your typical grandmother.
That's the pants.
You know.
Yeah. No.
If you were my granny, I'd like to go to Granny's house. I'll talk about Norway. Is delivery different over there? Big here. Lamaze is big here. A lot of couples go to Lamaze.
Oh, that's something I think where we are a little before you.
Right.
Because it's very much also a man's business. Like
Right.
when my daughter was having the baby, of course the man is there all the time. But when she was there for 24 hours, you're
Right.
not allowed to have any kind of injections or nothing. It must be very natural.
Why
And so-
now? What sense does that make?
Nature.
Well, I
You
mean,
know,
nature is
Norway's
nature, yeah.
But the man...
I mean, if somebody hits you on the head with a ball-peen hammer,
Well, they say it's...
and you
it's-
didn't take an aspirin, you can say, yeah, but that's nature, you know. I don't understand it. Somebody is...
Little babies, they feel it's not good for infants to have aspirin. So what goes to the
So
mother
the
goes
anesthetic
to the baby.
passes. I see.
And then the father is very important. So when we phoned during the delivery, you know, they would never say, oh, your daughter right now, she's working hard or she's tired. They would say all the time, oh, they are working very hard or they are tired now.
Yeah.
And somehow he was starving.
It's really become a joint venture now, doesn't it? I remember my kids were born. They wouldn't let the father even near the delivery room.
Oh, he was there. Even after the baby was born,
Yeah.
I got a telephone call half an hour after, and the three of them was lying in a room. They had been put in a room with a waterbed. And the three of them was lying there, naked, with the baby naked on top of them.
That's really nice. Now, that's
I think
nice,
it's
you
kind
see.
of nice.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Even if the kid isn't there. I mean,
The kid will be coming then.
it's still nice. Or if you're not in the hospital.
That's what makes babies in Norway, too.
Yeah, that's true. Well, so you have a baby daughter, a baby granddaughter now?
No, it's a boy. We talked about that the last time, tingling.
Well, you knew.
know.
Oh, yeah, you got in trouble with that. Didn't you? Not in trouble, but your last appearance here?
I didn't. You did. Because...
No, you brought it up.
Oh, no, I didn't bring it up, but you didn't
said
seem
you-
to know the difference between baby boys and baby
What are you
girls.
talking about? I don't know the difference. I asked you, if I remember, how you knew it was going to be a boy. And you said it was a sonogram or something?
And then you see, if it's a boy, it has a tingling. And you didn't know what a tingling was.
No, I didn't know what a tingling was. I wasn't brought up in the woods somewhere. I mean, they called it what it is.
Well,
I
in
hate
Norway,
those
we
kids.
call it tingling.
Well, you
And
shouldn't
here-
teach children that. It gives them a phony idea. You know, if you come out and say what it is, if a little boy comes in and says, what is this? What do you
When
say,
he's
that's a
little
tingling?
Yeah, when he's a little boy. When he's a little boy, it's a tingling, and then it changes
To
what
a
he
biggling.
uses it. You know?
Yeah, I hate it when we get too technical like this, but...
You know, when I came home back to Boston is very proper.
Yeah.
And when I came back to Boston, that's where I live, yeah.
Yeah.
Last time I'd been here, everything I talked about with people, the doormen, everybody, relatives, friends, greeted me with this tingling
Right,
thing.
you see?
Yes.
You see?
And I mean, they've never seen any film I've done.
That's right.
Hardly. And even my husband falls asleep on all these serious films. But
But he
this
kn-
tingling business has made me famous.
Well, you see? You just stay with me, kid. We'll be right back. Stay where you are. Okay, we're back. Tell me about... You know, I've never been to Norway. Tell me a little bit about the country. Did they say, people who've been there say it's so beautiful?
Oh, it is beautiful. And
The midnight sun, I mean, you
the
have the
midnight,
nights...
right now at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, it's still sunshine. It's
I went through
20
that in Russia. We just came back from Russia. And in Leningrad, they have what they call, or Moscow, the White Nights.
Yes.
And at 11 or 12 o'clock at night, you go out because the sun just hardly ever sets. And it never really gets totally dark.
No, it just dips in the ocean and
Yeah.
then it goes up again. It is beautiful. It affects you
Yeah.
inside and out. And because people know of this all the winter,
Right.
you know, they don't leave Norway because they know at summer they'll have
That's got to be
this.
pretty. Are you sports-minded? Well, Norwegians are
Well,
sports.
yeah, you have to go skiing when you're a child and things like that. But no, not specifically. You should come to Norway.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okie dokie. Where would I go first?
To Oslo, that's where I live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you should go north of Norway because that's where they have these incredible fjords
That's
and
what I hear.
high mountains. And
I've seen the pictures, and it just looks fantastic.
And people are special because in the summer, can you imagine a full winter where you never see daylight, and then comes summer and it's sunshine at 12 o'clock. That's when you use your feelings or whatever. I mean, most women in Norway get pregnant in the summer because you can't sleep.
You know, that makes sense. Remember when they had the blackout in New York City, the famous East Coast blackout? They found out that the birth rate had jumped 9 months later.
But what does that tell about Americans? You need it dark. We do it in light.
Yeah, you're right. It does.
Yeah.
It doesn't say much.
That's interesting. We should look into that.
Only a 50-watt bulb, maybe at least. You ever read this magazine?
Cosmopolitan? Yeah, I've seen it.
They have a lot of quizzes in here. And since you've been on the show, I just thought, this is their current quiz here. You want to answer some questions for real?
Yeah.
Is this true or false? When acquaintances and people you know, colleagues, ask how you are, you tell them fine even if you're feeling rotten. How would you answer that?
Well, I tell them I'm fine because nobody listens to what you say anyway when they say, how are you?
Yeah, people don't really want to hear if they're ill.
But they don't listen. I mean, if you say, how are you, do you hear what people say? If they say, I'm just dying, I mean, do you really hear it?
Well, sure.
Well, that's not my experience.
Yeah?
No.
See, I can remember everything we've talked about since you've been out here.
Yeah, but you and I, we are different.
About your clothes and so forth and so on and so on. I remember that. Because I said, you pick your clothes out, and you said, no, your daughter picks them out, or the man that you love would pick them out. Isn't that what you said?
That's true.
You see, I remember the things. Okay. You go to a dinner party and you're served a really tasteless meal, and the hostess asks you about it. Now, what do you say? If it's really rotten, would you be honest enough to say?
No, because that would hurt her. And I love food. So, you know, it takes a lot of bad food to make me really feel it's rotten.
So you'd call that a socially acceptable lie?
Oh, yes, absolutely. When it comes to dinner that somebody's made for you, why should you tell them it's rotten? Do you?
No, I think, there's such a social thing. You'd say, well, it's been an interesting meal. And you have a paper bag or something like that. I wouldn't. What happens if somebody calls you about 2 o'clock in the morning and you're awake and they say, I'm sorry I'm disturbing you? Now, do you get angry? What would you say?
I wouldn't know because I put the telephone in a drawer. I don't hear the phone at night.
Well, suppose somebody's trying to reach you at night.
They won't reach me. They don't. They know that.
Suppose it's an emergency.
Those who want to reach me in emergencies, they have another number.
They call the drawer directly, huh? Hello, drawer. These are dumb quizzes anyway. You wear jammies to bed?
What is jammies?
Pajamas.
No.
I don't know why I thought of that.
What about you? I mean, you're asking me these questions.
Well, you're the guest. This is my job.
Well...
You don't wear jammies?
No, I don't. Do you?
No.
No? What do you wear?
Buff.
Buff?
Acapella. Why should somebody get dressed to go to bed? I've never understood why people put pajama bottoms on pajama tops and then go to bed.
Depends on how you look in bed, I suppose.
Well, no, you got a sheet over you.
Not always.
Well, you don't wear a nightgown type of thing, do you? An old nightgown with a stocking cap? I can't see you.
No. Buff, you said?
Buff.
I'm mostly
That means
buff,
acapella. Nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that too embarrassing? Is that too personal? I don't want to.
No, I think people should be more personal.
I do, too.
Yeah.
Why do we do this? Every time you're on the show,
I don't know.
There's something about... What is it?
I don't know.
Yeah. We always seem to get in things like this. I mean...
No,
we
not
could talk
really.
about world conditions. We could talk about, women's rights. We could talk about
Why don't we?
the European economy, and the common market, and we don't do that. We always get down to these little silly things.
Well, you're the host.
Yeah? Yeah, I'm the host. I could ask you that. Yeah. What do you think of... No, I don't want to get into it. We have to do this. Freddie, you're getting a crook in your finger there. What?
It would be wise to do a commercial.
I hope so. All right, we'll do this, then we're coming back. before. He's a very popular comedian and actor. He had a reoccurring role in the Newhart series. Now he's working on the NBC Comedy Grand, which is on Thursday nights. He'll be at the Improvisation Clubs in Cleveland, Ohio, July 31st through August the 5th, and in Irvine, California, the 14th of August through the 19th. Would you welcome J.J. Wall? J.J.
Thank you. It's nice to be back. Thanks. Yeah, I'm in a great mood. Actually, my wife and I just celebrated our 12th wedding anniversary. 12 years. 12 long years. Yeah, I'm Catholic, so there's no real possibility of divorce. I'm Irish, so there is a possibility of murder. Catholic Church is not one of your mellow upbringings. Catholic Church, not one of your mellow religions. Not one of those, oh, you may be right, we may be right. Who's to really say? Not the Catholic Church. Catholic Church is more like the Marine Corps of religion. We're right, you're wrong, case closed, go to hell. Get down, give me 40 Our Fathers, 40 Hail Marys, 40 Glory Bees. Move it. Genuflect. It's a whole generation of Catholic school children with one bad knee and one huge thigh. And I am of Irish descent. Actually got to go to Ireland last year to trace my roots. Found myself in a pub, oddly enough. A bartender came over to me. He said, you're of Irish descent. Well, tell me, lad, can you name the 32 counties of Ireland? I looked at him. I said, geez, no, I can't. Can you? No. Don't know anyone who can. Just wanted to make you feel stupid. Welcome to Ireland. So now I have a baby girl that we're going to be raising in that tradition. We have a 2-year-old baby girl. And I'm happy about it. I had no real preference one way or the other before she was born, boy or girl. And then I realized when they're teenagers, a boy is going to bring crime, pestilence, and suffering into someone else's family. Whereas a girl will bring it right home to dad. Kind of nice. Yeah, 2 years old already. I'm picking out men I never want her to meet or have anything to do with. Pretty much anybody with the word dice anywhere in their name. Just keep them away from my little girl. That's all I ask. Although, I heard a guy at a party a couple of weeks ago was just so obnoxious. I guess he was trying to impress this woman with his brain or something. Kept saying stuff to her like, well, what is the sound of one hand clapping? I was there like, oh, geez. If you ever hear anyone say those words in your presence, what is the sound of one hand clapping? Just reach over and go, go fall down in the forest, see if anyone hears you. I think things should be simple and direct like that. It's one of the things I think about prejudice. I think prejudice is such a stupid thing. Such a stupid thing. Because there's so many perfectly good reasons to dislike people on an individual basis. Why carry that excess baggage? Don't complicate life. This whole constitutional amendment on flag burning, way too complicated. What you do is you pass a law that makes it mandatory for all flags to be made out of non-combustible material. Simple. This way you retain the right to burn the flag, but you won't be able to. Sucker could stand out there with a Zippo lighter till his damn thumb burns off. I don't think flag warming will ever become a viable form of protest. Men, let's go heat up a flag. Big corporations think like this. Big corporations think simple and direct and straight ahead. Like Texaco Oil. Texaco Oil actually lost a $99 billion lawsuit. $99 billion. And they never had to pay the money. They just reorganized. Texaco no longer exists. Texaco is now Star Enterprises. Wouldn't you love to do that in your everyday life? No, I'm sorry. George owes you the money. I'm Sam now. One of the things I admire about the state of Texas is that very thing. The state of Texas is a real straight-ahead kind of state. Well, of course, you have to learn the language before you can really travel through there. Certain words and phrases mean a different thing. If you're right about something in Texas, people don't say, hey, you're right. They say, there you go. Means you're right. They just say, there you go. 2 + 2 is 4. There you go. I got another expression down there. People will say, I hear you. Oh, I certainly hope so. I'm only standing like a 1.5 feet away. Well, I heard that. I said, there you go. Sure, I was paying attention. The reason I bring it up, the state of Texas actually has a murder defense that I think is just about genius in its simplicity. An actual murder defense called the he needed killing murder defense. You just go into court, judge says, why'd you kill him? Well, he needed killing. Boom, you acquitted, go home. Now, don't you go killing nobody don't need it. I hear you. Well, there you go.
Here's a talented young actress who had a lead role in the movie. I love this title, Daddy's Dying, Who's Got the Will? She also has roles in Gremlins 2, Ghost Dad, and Space Invaders. Would you welcome Patrika Darbo? Patrika. You made it this time. Yeah, I'm sorry. You were on a week ago and we ran late, and here you are
come
tonight.
out and call the pigs with that lady calling the cows.
Did you see that? Yeah. How are you? Good to see you.
Nice to meet you.
That's an unusual Patrika. Is that a combination of Patricia and?
Well, my mother just didn't want a Patricia. She wanted something different.
Something different. So you got Patrika.
Right. My husband's Darbo, Norwegian.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Is that a Norwegian name, Darbo?
it's kind of.
Did somebody turn on a cartoon?
Okay.
Where you? No, that's all right. I don't. Oh, come on, baby.
I'm sorry, just a second. Mother, could you die? All right, I'm right.
Where's home for you?
Home? Well, home is here in Burbank.
Yeah.
Just a couple
Where are you
blocks
from
away.
originally? I guess that's
Originally,
what I
I was
meant.
born in Florida.
Yeah.
And my mom and dad separated, and yay! And then I went to live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, because
Yeah.
my dad was with. Okay.
Okay, folks.
How many more states do I have to go?
What's your favorite?
Anyway, we went to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, because my dad worked for the Milwaukee Braves.
Oh, I see.
And then we went to Atlanta for the Atlanta Braves.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went on to Houston, but I came here.
Your dad was a sports writer. Somebody said.
No, he was public relations for
Yeah.
the Boston Braves, Milwaukee Braves, Atlanta Braves.
Right.
And traveling secretary. And
Is it true that he once appeared on the old
he was
Tonight
here
Show
with
when Jack Parr did
He was
it?
on here with Jack Parr, and he came on with Joe Garagiola and Henry Aaron, because he
Right.
wrote it. My dad was only 4'2", and he wrote a book
Your
called...
dad was.
We call
I don't mean that pejoratively. Only 4'2"
He
in
was-
height.
My stepdad was a midget. We called him Booby High at home. Can I say that?
After what we've been through, of course. Actually, we're a shade down from where we were. Okay.
So he wrote a book called Caught Short, and he was
Yeah.
on the show to talk about that. The ball players used to do terrible things to him, like they'd put him on the 22nd floor, and he'd get on the elevator and say, "Push the button for me." They'd say, "Push it yourself, you little son of a," and then, and so he'd get off and say, "Put my room on the 4th floor," so because he could reach
That's
that.
not-
So.
So now somebody told me you used to work in Vegas. Is it?
Well,
Are you
okay.
having visions or something? Come on.
Oh, so maybe that just comes out. I thought I had it, but I don't. Okay,
You worked as a showgirl?
I did. For the first time in my life, I think I sounded like a stripper when he introduced me, Patrika Darbo, because. Well, I'm just, okay.
You
Brick
worked as a-
walls, bottoms
you
up.
worked as a- Brick walls, bottoms up. You worked on that show?
Yes,
Well, that's a nudie kind of a review.
No, I didn't do that. Except I did a parody of Dolly Parton,
Yeah.
and I fell off the stage because I couldn't see my feet. I just. The man in the front row loved it when
Yeah.
I bounced on him to the next guy. But
How long did you do that role?
I did that for about 6 months.
Yeah.
Bad time in Texas travel.
Yeah. And then what? You say you're married?
I'm married, been married almost 17 years.
Oh, really?
Met my husband here at the Burbank Little Theater.
Well, you look very young to have been married 17 years.
I was a child bride.
You have an infectious laugh.
I'm sorry.